You're dead.
Hello everyone, Zakes here and welcome to my character appraisal of Sinon, or as she's more popularly known, Sinon from the anime Sword Art Online Part 2. And now that I've gotten the hang of it, I am now going back to my general format where I simply probe major aspects about a character. No more likes and dislikes.
Don't screw with me!
I will give her a letter grade at the end though, which is still opinionated and not necessarily cumulative. And just before I get started, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more character appraisals and top 5 lists. Also, you may support me on my Patreon campaign as well if you care to do so, link in the description. That being said, let's begin.
Next.
Sword Art Online is an anime series about what are termed virtual reality massively multiplayer online games, or VRMMO for short. I don't see what's so short about that, especially considering the fact that I feel the urge to enunciate in this case. It's a bit of a tongue twister for me. Don't ask me. As the name suggests, these are massively immersive video games where one may explore from a first-person point of view, a virtual world, mainly online. However, we watch it from a third-person perspective. So in respect of the setting, there are two worlds. The real world where the player exists, and the virtual one where the player may engage in fantastic exploits from the comfort of their own home.
The game's practically independent of the real world.
A bed being the preferred play area. And please, dirty-minded people, get your heads out of the gutter. It is not that sort of play. Relatively speaking. This anime actually has various iterations and storylines, and this particular one sees the hero Kirito having to hunt down a player who has somehow found a way to kill people in real life from within the game. Sinon is the main female protagonist of this arc and is a sniper of great renown in-game who assists Kirito in his investigation. Sinon is the survivor of a very traumatic robbery and is left psychologically scarred by the event.
Ever since that day, whenever I see a gun, I freak out.
Because of it, she cannot stand to see a gun in real life or even to think about it, to the point that she even loses her strength and composure, even getting very sick. But for some reason, when she is in-game, she has no problem with guns whatsoever, and she believes that if she can beat the game, then she will be able to beat her phobia.
But in this world, I don't have those problems. And that got me thinking, if I can become the strongest player in the game, then I'll be strong IRL too.
We all have weaknesses we are aware of and tell ourselves that we will overcome, but still struggle when we confront them. There is no problem imagining overcoming them, but actually doing it is a pretty daunting task. This means her ambition is impressive and way more than I would be able to do. Her trauma and journey where she actively pursues overcoming its effects on her is self-aware, very brave, and inspiring, even if she does stumble here and there. The contrast between her real-life persona and that in-game is also pretty remarkable.
Maybe that's why the person I am in here and the real me feel like two different people.
In the former, she is slightly meek and the victim of bullying by some of her schoolmates who take advantage of her phobia, as even having a finger pointed at her in the form of a gun can leave her shaken and on the verge of throwing up. She may try to fight it or stand up to them, but she usually fails in the process as she does not understand where she can find the strength to do so. In the virtual world, it is a whole different ball game. She is the best sniper, competitive and confident, and has no problem handling any firearm.
As Sinon, when I'm holding a gun or when someone's drawing down on me, I can handle it.
She even has a special bond with a sniper rifle, the Hecate 2, but this is all made awry when Kirito enlists her to assist in his investigation of the player who is killing people. This forces her two worlds to collide, as the fear that she only felt in real life ends up seizing her in-game and forcing her to find a compromise between the two personas and ultimately conquering her fears. This is made sensible and believable because when she is being bullied, she shows signs that she has a layer of defiance in her, only that she has a weakness which she cannot seem to get past. The story did a great job of showing how human beings are not who they actually are, and normally this is due to their fears. In fact, I could say that fear is seen as an impediment to our natural development, talents, and characteristics which are already there. So the lesson is simply don't let your fears define you or stop you from being the best version of you can be.
It is a game, so you can at least have the balls to face death here instead of whining!
Her decision to be a sniper in-game can be seen as an attempt by her to own what happened to her. In the past, she closed her eyes to it, but in-game she has to see her target and know what she is doing and its consequences, as it were. In my view, as the stakes are only virtually consequential, this does not assist her real-world phobia.
No way. This is nothing like how it felt that day.
Or at least until the possibility of death comes into play. Then she begins to play for keeps, and thus indirectly helps her recover from her problem. It's not an overnight recovery either, as she still exhibits issues with guns, but this is a huge step for her, and you know what they say about that precious first step. I have already addressed her sniper skills in episode 1 of my Patreon podcasts, but I will say that in-game, she's the best sharpshooter and has a reputation that precedes her.
He won't even know what hit him.
She has a very marked knowledge of guns and can get lost in any conversation involving them, which is usually one-sided when she is explaining something. And this brings us to Kirito.
So, are you, a friend of Sinon's?
Hate to break it to you, but she's a dude.
Yeah, my name's Kirito. I'm a dude.
It annoyed me to no end that Kirito comes into her world and usurps all the moments of glory from her, and worse still, Sinon is made his sidekick.
What the? You're bringing this up now?
She still exhibits her great sniping, but it simply takes the backseat to Kirito's gameplay.
Wait a sec! These are supposed to be ridiculously hard to drive! I don't know anyone who can handle them, so how come you can?
Oh, well, I used to play a lot of racing games back in the day.
But it's not all that bad, as this allows for a viable solution for a phobia in the form of a relationship with Kirito, as they can relate to each other to an extent. Sinon feels Kirito is a kindred spirit, but wonders how he manages to keep fighting on when there seems to be so much at stake, which in turn ends up helping her find her own strength and to fight for herself. It's rather unfortunate that once the story is done with her, she simply fell into Kirito's harem that is not a harem. Oh, hi Asuna! But I do like the fact that she teases both of them sometimes in order to show that if she really wanted to, she could cause trouble for Kirito and Asuna's very harem-y committed relationship. Unfortunately, at some point she disappears altogether. But I must say Kirito is good for her because he ruffles her feathers so much when she tries to be this calm, cool and collected but lonely individual.
Yeah, you're right. It's still a pain in the butt.
I got your pain in the butt.
She is very tense and desperate to get out from the shadow of her past, and she cannot see the forest for the trees, and Kirito serves as a great wake-up call for her. Nevertheless, I felt like her trauma defined her too much in the story to the extent that there was no proper place for her after her arc. The ditch the plot dug itself into was simply the answer to the question, if the problem is solved, then why rehash it over and over? You simply start thinking up solutions for the next one, and in this regard, they show Sinon to have had only one problem, and once hers was solved on the surface at least, it did not go in depth into really defining her beyond it, as it were. This is definitely a downside Sword Art Online has with me so far. In conclusion, I felt that she was a very well written character with lots of context, but her being subverted by the story and being used as anime toilet paper, that is, being Kirito's little helper and being flushed down the drain as soon as her purpose was served, led to my giving Sinon the letter grade of B-.
Nice going.
As all the greatness of her personality still shone through for the time and dimensions she was given. What letter grade would you have given her, and why? Respond in the comments below and I may address it on one of my Patreon posts. And that is my video on Sinon. Thank you for watching, and I hope you share, like, comment and subscribe to my channel for more character appraisals. And please don't forget, 1,000 subscribers is the aim for now. Requests and suggestions for future videos are always welcome. Until the next video, I am Zakes and take care.